Well, Helldivers, we've just had the major patch and holy moly, is it a huge list. So much is going on in this patch update, folks, that this video will more than likely be a little bit longer than the normal, between 5 and 10 minutes that I normally do. So like and subscribe and hit that ding dong bell for the future spreading of democracy. So the patch went live this morning, divers, but the size is actually a reasonable 1.56 gig on PlayStation, and the main overview for this patch is balance changes to weapons, stratagems, and enemies, and also to the spread democracy mission. We may not read the entire list as some of the fixes, they are kind of repetitive, but I will leave a link below for you folks if you want to give it an entire read. The main changes obviously is the primary, secondary and support weapons, where with these now, the exploding crossbow, the Punisher plasma, the eruptor, the sickle, the scythe, they've all had decreases in the amount of magazines that you will spawn with. But these are all ones we got, folks. Exploding crossbow, slightly smaller explosion, increased stagger, decreased number of maximum mags from 12 to 8, increased number of mags though that you receive from a resupply from 6 to 8, so it looks like we are going to be resupplying a lot more than we normally do. The laser quasar cannon has been increased for the recharge rate by 5 seconds for I don't know why, because the recharge rate is actually okay. My favourite one is the BR-14 adjudicator, as now with this, it's now full auto. That's what I wanted from the get-go with this gun, because it is a good weapon. They've actually reduced the recoil, they've increased the maximum number of magazines you can hold from 6 to 8, and they've also increased the number of magazines that you get from resupply from 6 to 8 as well, which is great, but it's now placed among assault rifles. The laser cannon slightly increased damage, but they've reduced the damage against larger volume bodies. The Punisher plasma, that's had a decreased maximum mags from 12 to 8 as we were saying. The amount of magazines received from resupply has been increased. The projectile speed has been increased, but it will still keep the similar range. They've decreased damage fall off though on the explosion, which is kind of annoying as it wasn't a bad, one-shot shotgun, but now they've actually placed it in the energy weapons category. The Arc Blitzer, they've increased shots from 30 to 45 per minute and is also in the energy weapons category. Now if you're a fan of the R36 Eruptor, the number of maximum magazines has been decreased by a whopping 50%. It's now 6 instead of 12. And the explosive damage drop-off has been increased slightly. The sickle, again, magazines have been decreased from 6 to 3. The scythe, the damage has been increased from 300 to 350, but the maximum number of magazines has been decreased from 6 to 4. Now, the railgun, which, again, when this game first started, it was the weapon to use, and then it had that stupid nerf. But it's had a buff. Increased armor penetration in both safe mode and unsafe mode, and stagger force has slightly been reduced. The heavy machine gun, third-person crosshair has been enabled, which isn't too bad, but as you can see here, for the Diligence Counter-Sniper, Diligence, Redeemer, Peacemaker, the Senator, the Dagger, and the Liberator Concussive, all damage has been increased, so that's not too bad. But the Senator pistol now has a speed loader added when reloading on an empty cylinder, so this is going to be a game changer, because that was the issue that a lot of us had. It's a good sidearm, one shot to the head can normally take out a bot or a bug, but when you fire them all, it takes about 10 seconds to reload it. But now it's got a speed loader, so that is always great to see. But then as you can see though, with the Dominator, the Guard Dog Rover, and the Guard Dog, they've had a couple of decreased in damages, and the burning damage has been reduced by 15 for the Guard Dog. So that's what we got there. Stratagems. Not really much has gone on with these folks, but as you can see, increased health to match other sentries for the machine gun sentry, the Tesla Tower has been increased by 33%, and the Airburst rocket launcher, the brand new stratagem that we just got, this is actually no longer detonating when shot near stratagems. so turrets, sentries, resupplies, etc., and other Helldivers, which is good. And they've also reduced the proximity radius of the explosion. Enemies. Balancing adjustments have been made to the bile and the nursing spewers, where their movement speed has been reduced. Hulks. The force required for them to stagger slightly has been increased, but this is one of the best ones. The Hulk Scorcher. Their flamethrower damage has been reduced by 20%. But I still reckon that we'll be getting a little spurt of a fire on us and we will still die. That's what I think. The gunship's sideway movement has been increased, but they've also had a much lower cap on how many gunships can actually be there at the same time, which, thank God. Enemy patrols. The balancing adjustment to patrol spawning. If there's less than 4 players on the game, these will spawn a little bit more than they would if there was 4 players. There's no change compared to before with 4 players. The biggest notable change will be for solo players at higher difficulties. Now, the gameplay. As you can see, they've made, minor generation improvements for this and for that. But that one right by there, folks, is the big one. They have now added a setting in the options menu of the gameplay section to disable automatic climbing and vaulting while sprinting. We are no longer going to be running to get the supply hell pod and climbing that bloody thing. Everyone will be able just to grab ammo instead of climbing up. This is a game changer, I'm telling you right now. And as you can see by there as well, my favorite one is to go along with the running and the vaulting. When you shoot a charger or, like the armored ones on the bots, it ricochets, you see it. But the ricochet will now properly hit the Helldiver who fired it. Trigger discipline is highly recommended. That is just absolutely great to see. But moving on to the fixes, which as you can see is absolutely huge. This is the main part of the update, folks, and I'm actually glad they've actually done quite a substantial look on this. So as you can see, for the crash fixes, where, you would be abandoning a mission, or if you tried to enter a Patriot suit where a diver already was in, you would literally end the game. The game would go to blue screen on PlayStation and crash you, and you'd have to do a report. But thank God, they've actually done these now for this. But there is still some in the known issues, which I think will take longer than normal. But as you can see as well, they've also fixed superior packaging methodology and the blast absorption ship modules. They have actually been done to how they were meant to be. That is just great to see. But as you can see, there is so many going on here, where you got fixed some stratagem beams using incorrect color coding, some issues where various UI elements were cut off. They fixed the anti-material rifle facing away from the Helldiver after deploying it. There's so many going on, it's just great to see that they have gone in and they've done right. We're going to leave off this week and we're going to have a major patch in 2 weeks' time. So it gives us 2 weeks to fix everything so we can go out there and be like, guys, this is what we got. And this seems to be what they've done, which is absolutely amazing. They've also fixed the receiving friend requests, which now gives the player a pop-up, which is great to see. They fixed an issue where stalkers became very visible in fog. That is a little bit of a, god damn it, But as you can see, the fixes are huge. Like I said, I do have a link below for you, for which you can actually choose and give them a read yourself. And then we got the known issues, which, as you can see, they still have the various issues regarding crossplay and friend invites. Now with this one, I'm not too sure how they're going to get around this, because this has actually been an issue since the game first launched, and the game has now been out for nearly 3 months. So that is going to take a lot more time to actually get in, see what's going on, and hopefully it doesn't hurt something else in the code and we can get this done, because there's so many people on PC and PlayStation who are friends and they can't play the game together. But this is what we got, guys, and like I said, this is a big update, and for the size of it, of only being 1.56 gig on PlayStation, that's one hell of a win. But guys, that's what we got. Let me know what you think about this down below, my fellow Helldivers, and let's keep spreading democracy.